even though we talked about different things, and I think they are all important, right? But for you to take your first trade, there are quite a few things that you just need to take note of. Um, Basically, the first thing is going to be um, because I know, from experience, I could remember when I had the privilege to host a very big seminar somewhere in Ikeja, Lagos. Yeah, it was with a multinational brokerage. I think it was about 5 years ago or thereabout. I observed that a lot of people actually wanted to know how to trade, even in the middle of the seminar. People don't care about everything that you have to say. People don't care about you having to let them know everything that they need to know. The question that they keep asking, you know, I think that anxiety is tied to that. Is that, oh, how do we trade? How do we want to see how it works? That kind of thing. I can't really blame them. But again, it's always advisable that before you start a business, you need to learn everything that you need to learn. It's always very, very helpful. It saves you a lot of money going forward, you know. So yeah. So um out of everything that we discussed so far in the videos, um, I just wanted to take note of certain things, right? And I want you to put them in your head. I want you to hold them going forward because they are really going to be very, very important in this journey. If trading is going to be eventually for you, right? So it's not obviously not for everyone, but it's for some people, right? Yeah. So the first thing is that I'd like us to take note of is that as beginners, I'd like us to know that um, in the forex market, um, there are different participants, right? I want you to understand that. Um, there, there's this retail traders, speculators. There is hedge funds, fund managers, the banks, the market makers, the central banks, um, and other government bodies, you know, government institutions. Now, the combination of all these uh, people are participants in forex market. You understand what I'm trying to say? And they come to the forex market with different purposes, right? Obviously, the retail trader are there to speculate. The hedge fund, the fund managers, those ones are there to speculate as well, just to make money from price differences. Um, the central banks, those ones are there to, um, as part of their open market operation, just to support their monetary policies. Sometimes they come to the forex market to do some buying and sellings. But the most important participant in the market that I want us to focus on are the market makers. The market makers are the ones that everyone in the market move through, right? The market makers basically are very important in the market because they are the people that actually make the market happen. You understand? They own the infrastructure that ensure that anytime you want to buy, you will see someone to sell to you. And anytime you want to sell, you will see someone to buy from you. So without the market makers in the market, that may not be possible at all times. Sometimes you just, you see that you want to buy, you don't see anyone to sell to you. But because the market makers are there, you will always complete your trade within a short time, right? So, and as market makers, they ensure that you complete this thing, to complete your trade, sometimes by connecting you to another counterparty, and sometimes they may even be the one to act as the counterparty. Do you understand? So meaning that they also go into the trades. You get. So when they are acting, when they are connecting you to another counterparty, of course, obviously they are connecting you to another person. All they need to do is just to make the commission out of the trade. But when they are acting as the counterparty, it means they are getting involved in the trade directly. You understand? So it may mean that they are buying from you, whether favorable or not favorable. You understand what I'm trying to say? But obviously, if it's not too favorable to them, the commission is going to be high. If it's favorable to them, the commission is going to be low. You understand what I'm trying to say? But know for sure that they will definitely do something that will ensure that they don't, those trades don't result in loss for them. You understand? Regardless of whether you have lost or you have gained. You understand? So they will always make sure that they cover those trades. They always make sure that they they do something to those trades in order to ensure that they don't lose money. And even if it's so difficult for them to cover, they ensure that they try to reduce the possible losses that may arise. You understand? So it means that as market makers, you as a market maker, you must, it means that market makers, they get fully involved in trade. They ensure that they push prices to favorable levels. They ensure that they push prices. So for you to be a very good trader, you must have at the back of your mind that the activities of the market makers is very important. You must watch. You understand? So because they ensure because as market makers they have a large pool of capital. You understand? Even though they can't manipulate the market for too long because it's a very big market, they can manipulate it for a short time, short time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, things like that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And this actually defines price most times during a particular trading session. You understand? So first thing first, as traders, you must um, um, take note of the activities of market makers. It is important, right? Yeah. But of course, as you advance in the trade, you're going to learn about how to deal with these manipulations. So another thing that I also want us to um, take note of is that when do you buy and when do you um, sell? You understand? Now, simply, you know the concept of base currency and quote currency. So oftentimes in the forex market, for example, a typical currency pair, a currency pair that we trade in the forex market, a very popular one is Euro USD. You can see Euro USD. So Euro is on the left side and then USD is on the right side, right? So the Euro basically is because it's on the left side, right? Is called the base currency, and the USD because it's on the left is on the right side is called the quote currency, right? So So when do you buy and when do you sell? Right? You buy that pair, Euro USD, right? If you believe that the um, base currency is going to strengthen is going to be stronger than the quote currency, right? And you will sell that pair if you believe that the base currency is going to be weaker than the quote currency. Do you understand? So that's how to make a decision to buy or to sell. So so when you look at your chart, when you analyze the market, when you analyze all the available information, which are not too much, they are not too many, but of course, as time goes on, you learn. But I'm just saying for you to take your first trade is that even at this level of yours, if you look at the chart and then you believe that the base currency is going to be stronger than the quote currency, then what you should do is what? To get ready to buy, or you need to buy that currency pair. But if you believe that the base is going to be weaker than the quote, then what you should do, the right thing to do there is to sell that currency pair. Finish. It's as simple as that. So that's how to make a decision to buy or to sell. You understand? So that's another very important factor that I want you to take note of. So another important factor that I also want us to take note of is that currency pairs correlate with each other, right? They correlate with each other. You understand? So, for example, that's like, you know, and you can just decide to use my examples to trade. For example, if you look at the currency pair Euro USD and GBP USD, they have a very positive correlation with one another. You understand? Even though people say correlation does not infer causation, but in this case, to an extent, there is a relationship between the two um, currency pairs. But I'm not going to go into that. What I want you to just know is that there's a positive correlation. So meaning that if there is a movement in Euro USD, that same movement is going to happen in GBP USD. You understand? So as forex trader, we may want to diversify our trades, right? By not just trading just one currency pair. Based on your analysis of market, you can use that one analysis of market to trade two pairs that are correlated. You understand? So in the case of Euro USD and GBP USD, so after analyzing the market, and then you feel like Euro, which is the base currency, is going to be stronger than the quote currency, which is USD, right? So it means that you'll be getting ready to buy, or you'll be buying that pair, right? So instead of you to just buy only that pair, you can decide to diversify and use that same analysis to buy Euro USD and also use and buy GBP USD um, since they are positively correlated to each other. You understand? And if you are selling one, you can also decide to sell the other. So you know that you are diversifying that trade, to an extent. You understand? So these three things are the things that I really want you to take note of. I'm going to add to it. Another thing that I'm going to add to it, as beginners, you need to get yourself familiar with the trading platform applications. You understand? In the case of Forex, we use MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, depending on which one you can lay your hands on. You can download, for people that use Android phone, you can download the MetaTrader 4 in your app store, get it set up, and then probably open a demo account and just practice want to get familiar with it, practice with the virtual money, and then practice what I've just said with the virtual money, do some buying and selling, and just see how it goes. You understand? In that case, you're not losing any money. It's just a virtual money that will be provided for you to just practice. And whenever you think you're ready for the market, you can fund with real money and then start trading. You understand? So the essence of this is just for you to get to set up. If you use an iPhone, you can also go to your app store, iOS app store, and download a MetaTrader 4, a MetaTrader 5. You know, set it up, get used to it, have access to your free virtual fund, do some buying and selling, get used to the platform, and then that way you have started your journey. You understand? And then as time goes on, maybe 1 or 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, depending on how it works for you, you can now fund with real money and then start trading. Um, um, yeah. So these are the basic things that I want us to just take note of. You understand? These are the basic things that I want us to take note of to be able to like start our first trade. Start our first trade. If you don't know how to go about this, you can send me a DM. I can put you through. Um, I can, support you to an extent to be able to do these things. You understand? Yeah. So, yeah, that's that. That's that. If you also want a link, if you want a link to the full training, introductory forex training, like the one we played 2 days ago and yesterday. If you want a link to it, you can as well send me a DM. I'm going to provide you a link to it. It's a YouTube link. You're going to see the video there, and then you can watch it for free. You don't have to pay any amount. You understand? We don't charge people for training, you know. So yeah, that's that. You understand? So that's basically the things that I want you to take note of, and you will see that if you follow these things that I've just said, the first rule is just something that should be in your head. It's going to be useful as you move on in the journey. And then the other um, three that I said are the things that you can start using right away. You understand? You know, um, trade, buy, sell, practice, and that way you have started to trade. If you have any question, you can ask me. I can as well answer them. Um, yeah.